Hi! And of course, if you're using a cast iron skillet, make sure you got something to protect your hand. Gordon Ramsay, we've all seen your steak sandwich video. It looks amazing and delicious, but there's just one thing that bothers me about it.
It has to be fillet.
It does not need to be filet. We can make it simpler and easier and, well, probably not better, but still very good. 8.2%. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. Fun fact, Gordon Ramsay actually isn't English. He was actually born in Scotland. So that's why I'm gonna get us started off with a nice shot of scotch. This is actually a 10-year age scotch. I don't think you're really supposed to shoot it. Oh. All right, so we're actually gonna start with that tomato jam that Gordon Ramsay makes. Starting with a red onion. We're gonna dice this onion the Gordon Ramsay way. Now I know I'm not cutting as fast as Gordon cuts, but simple editing can fix that. To go along with our onions, we're gonna dice up some red chilies as well. And of course, Gordon Ramsay says you can take out some of these seeds if you want to cut out some of that heat, but I like things spicy. So from here, we're going into a hot pan with olive oil to saute those. Now just to honor and respect Gordon, I did get red and yellow tomatoes, which is what he recommends, because he says, well, it has a very nice color to it. That was a horrible Gordon Ramsay impression. But the reality is the flavor is still gonna be the same. So if you can only get just regular old red cherry tomatoes, that's fine. No one's gonna stab you. Gordon Ramsay's not gonna kick down your door and call you a bloody donkey. Yeah, he's not coming through the door. Notice me, Gordon Ramsay senpai. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna have all these tomatoes. Ignore the few that just rolled off the cutting board and went to the floor. That didn't happen. They're gonna go in the pan with our onions and chilies. Any that you miss while trying to push them in the pan, you can just kind of pick those in and chuck them in. Now this is the point that Gordon stresses in his video, which is you want to blister these tomatoes. To sum up, you basically want to kind of just smack them with a wooden spoon or spatula or something, you know, just kind of, loosen them up. I'm actually finding that using a spatula is a bit better because you can just basically just lay it flat and kind of smush these tomatoes. Don't worry if it squirts at you. That means you did good. That always means you did good. At this point, you're gonna hit it with a little bit more olive oil because you're supposed to get a velvety texture. And basically what we want to do now is spend our time reducing that down, which basically just means we're trying to evaporate all that liquid. Speaking of liquid, and don't forget, like I almost just did, you want to hit it with a little bit of sherry vinegar. Not too much, just about a teaspoon. This is going to give it some nice acidity and sweetness to it. So you can see we got more of like a jammy consistency now. We can just put that in a bowl to set aside. And at this point, you may be saying to yourself, well, you haven't really done anything different from Gordon. Well, that's about to change right here. Because Gordon says it absolutely must be filet. Now, I'm sure that's true if you're a world famous chef that has 50 bajillion Michelin stars and God knows how many restaurants around the world. But we all can't readily afford filet just to make a goddamn sandwich, Gordon. So instead, I've gone with sirloin.
What are you?
Still not necessarily the cheapest cut of meat, but still a good quality meat that won't break the bank. And from here, we're going very simple seasoning. Salt, pepper, and the holy grail, of powdered seasonings that should be in everybody's kitchen. Garlic powder. Seriously, this thing is such an easy shortcut to so many recipes. Now garlic, yes, is cheap, so you really don't necessarily need garlic powder. You can do it like Gordon does, where you have the garlic and put the thing and whatnot. But if you've been out drinking for the night, perhaps you've brought somebody home and you're looking to impress them, you don't want your hands smelling like garlic, Gordon. And then of course, when we cook it, we want to go with a nice cast iron skillet. And once our oil is warm, our steaks are gonna go in. Of course, it's gonna cook a lot faster than a filet, Gordon. All in the pan. Probably about just 2 to 3 minutes per side, depending on how you want it cooked. And while our steak is cooking, we can make a nice mustard mayonnaise. And our ratio is, of course, it's 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 3 teaspoons of whole grain mustard. And this is the benefit of also using a cheaper cut of steak, that we can spend a little bit more money on something like whole grain mustard. Seriously, $4 for this rinky-dink jar? Come on. Hi! And of course, if you're using a cast iron skillet, make sure you got something to protect your hand. Once you flipped it over, we're gonna throw in some butter and start basting our steak. And then you're gonna do that fancy thing where you lean the pan so you can get the butter all on one side and to throw it over the steak. Once your steak's finished, you're gonna throw it on a cutting board just to rest while we put the finishing touches in line. We gotta get our bread set up. Gordon, of course, says we need ciabatta bread. Now Gordon, of course, has a nice grill pan, so you can get those nice grill and char marks or whatnot. I don't. I just got my regular old cast iron skillet, so I'm gonna clean that out, and then I'm gonna hit this with some olive oil and put it in the pan. It's time to assemble our sandwich. Ciabatta down, a nice piece of lettuce. Now it's time to slice our meat. I'm gonna lay our meat on our ciabatta leaf. Hit it with our nice tomatoey, spicy jam right on top. Then our top piece of bread gets that nice mustard mayonnaise. And then of course, to look extra sexy, you can cut it in half.
Finally, some good fucking food.
Now that we got it all set up, we can eat. Tomato jam gives a great kick of spice with those chilies and some nice acidity. That mustard mayonnaise, a creaminess with a tiny bit of a bite. And then of course, a well-cooked steak. Done just like that, easy peasy, something you can do even when you're drunk at the end of the night. There you go, Gordon Ramsay steak sandwich, done not only easier, but cheaper. See you in the next video.